is Doris and I am Little Bird Products. Welcome back if you've been here before. And if you're new here, welcome. And please subscribe. It does help the channel and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. What I wanted to do today is take you through the end product of my week. Even though the week isn't quite over for me yet, I always think that the end of the day, Sunday, is the end of my week. What I've been working on, I think a lot of you know, is I've been trying to find a bucket hat pattern that I really love. And I thought I found it. What I've done is a little more detailed with pictures, video, and talking of the bucket hat pattern I had high hopes for. It's kind of a spoiler alert. I've decided I'm going to go back to the other one. I loved this pattern because it was one pattern piece. Now, that's kind of a little bit of a misnomer. I mean, it is one pattern piece, which is really nice. So if you want to make a quick hat, this is pretty quick. But you make 6 of those pieces for one hat, and then you line it, so that's another 6 pieces. So it's a total of 12 pieces, even though they're all the same. So there's a different little way you stitch together. Now, the little disappointment for me, as you'll see at the end, is that the hat turned out a little bit large. However, for my friend, it turned out great because she has a little larger head, and I gave it to her yesterday, and she loves it. And it did turn out really pretty colors because I made one side kind of a khaki green out of a sheet, and then the other side was a really pretty paisley out of another sheet. So I try to make my first offs out of sheets. I'm okay with the way it turned out, but I am going to go back to my other pattern that's from Mood Fabrics. I have that in one of my earlier videos. Now, there is a pattern and there is a tutorial for it, and I show a couple of screenshots of that in here, and I will link it in the description. But it doesn't have any words, doesn't have any sound to it, and it's not quite as detailed as what I like. So you'll hear my yattering. I've walked you through this in a little more detail, and hopefully my pattern piece, the way I have it laid out, is a little easier for you. You won't have to struggle through centimeters to inches conversion and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to try this hat, I think it's a pretty simple pattern. A little word of warning, it is a little larger size. I would say it's a large to extra large hat. And it does have the brim on it is not as wide. It makes a nice hat for when it isn't super sunny, but you want to put something on your head to walk the dog in the morning, or you go to the grocery store if your hair looks like crap in the morning. You can pull this off and put it on. So hopefully this will help you in making that. And then at the very end, if you watch till the very end, you'll see me dancing around. You'll see some headshots of me in the hat. And then you'll see me dancing around in my 2 Dungaree dresses that I did finish this week, and I'm very pleased with them. And I will be making some more. If you would like to have a more detailed tutorial of how I do those, I'd be happy to show you that. I really like the one that is all shirt sleeves, the longer one. So I definitely will be making more of that pattern. And it's not a difficult make, and I think you'll enjoy that. Oh, and a little teaser. This is what I'm working on making this week. It's another little sweet shirt, and isn't that sweet lace with little hearts on it? So enough said about that. I'll make some more of those this week. And without further ado, I'm going to take you through this hat tutorial and watch to the end and see a little dancing. And have a happy week. Okay, bye. On to making my new hat. And my goal with this was to have an easier pattern for making my bucket hats and making them a little lighter, and also coming up with a pattern that I could use for my cotton scraps. So what I came up with, and I'll link the tutorial that this came from, but it's my own way of expressing it. And here is, let's see if I can get this. Here is the pattern in inches, okay? And so, whoops, let's get this back here. If you look at this, this is in inches. And what I did is I just put it, it's kind of interesting. The way they do it is a little different. So this is a 1/2 inch up. So just think up. 1/2 inch up. This is 3 1/8 inch up. This is 3 1/4 inch up. And then this is another 3 1/4 inch up. So you kind of think about it like that. All right. That's this way. Okay. And then you want your lines this way. All right. And so from there to there, all right, is, let me show you here. This is a little easier, I think, to show you on this. From here to here, all right. Oh, I won't tell you. No, this is better. Sorry. Okay, from here to here is 3 3/8 inches. Okay. And from here to there is 2 3/16 inches. And there to there is 2 1/16 inches. Okay. So it's easier to look at it this way. Okay. This is a 1/2 inch up. Okay, because I made it the width that it needed to be, 1/2 inch up. This is 3/8 inch up, 3 1/8 inch up. This is 3 1/4 inch up, and this is 3 1/4 inch up. So what you do is, here's the width, right, of this section, the width, and then it just goes up to the peak. And then what you do is you connect these things this way. Okay, that's your height. All right, and then this goes on the fold. So bottom line is, what it ends up looking like is this. Okay, here's my piece of fabric. Okay, and I laid this down. Remember, this is on the fold, so that this is really my pattern, because I'm not going to be folding this up. But what it does give me is the option of having a tall skinny piece, another tall skinny piece that I connect together, thinking in terms of my scraps. Okay, so I took this, I created one new pattern out of that, then I used this for all my other pieces. These are pieces of sheets. Okay, this is a nice cotton sheet, this is a microfiber sheet. All right, so now what I'm going to do is you cut 6 pieces of each. All right, and then you take them and you put the stabilizer, iron-on stabilizer on the back. Then you take, and I'm just going to summarize this, then I'm going to come back after I have it sewn together. You take 3 pieces. What you want to do is put right sides together. You'll sew this like that, right? And then you take and open it out flat, and then you cut little ridges or little snippets in it so that it folds out flat. And then what you'll do is, once you have that together, and you'll have this seam, you iron the seam flat like that, and then you'll be stitching it. You stitch it down. And you stitch it so that it has a nice flat, this will be together, and you stitch it on the right side, right? So you'll fold it together down like this, you'll stitch it up. You're doing a top stitch on it so that it's got a nice curve to it. Then you'll take your 3rd piece, this will be sewn together, and you'll take the 3rd piece that you have like that. Let me get my 3rd piece. So it's the law of 3s, and you'll take and sew that and do the same thing, lay it flat. So now you have 1/2 of a hat. Then you take your next 3 pieces that are like this, and you do the same thing, right, with the stitching. And then you'll have 2 pieces of 3 that are connected together. Then you take those 2, you put them together, you'll sew them along the edges. You'll do that stitching, top stitching, all the way around. And now you'll have 1 hat. It'll be the lining or the outside, whatever you want. Then you move on and you do the same thing with these 3 pieces and 3 pieces and join them together, right? Then you do the regular thing where you put those pieces together. Now that's all explained in the attached video, but this is going to be my version of that. I'll show you when I get the 3 pieces, then after I join the 3 pieces, and the same way here. And then I'll come back and show you how I seamed them together. And we'll see together what this hat looks like. I got my fingers crossed, I hope it turns out nice, because I can see each one of these pieces being different. These are just out of a vintage sheet for that purpose, but I can see myself using pieces of denim, pieces of cotton, pieces of whatever, because I end up with a lot of pieces parts, as you can see sitting around. So I'm hoping that, I could have a piece as small as this, and this is half of one of these. So, that's a lot of scrap. So I hope this is a nice scrap buster project. And I'm hoping that the way this is put together, it makes it faster for me to be able to make a hat. We shall see.
These are just snippets from the other video of how they laid out the pattern, but I thought it might be interesting for you to see those here before I show you more of my film.
Okay, here's my 2 halves of the hat, and before I top stitched them, I did clip them, right? It's kind of a pain in the butt because of this curve, but you'll figure out how to do it. And then you top stitch each thing around the curve. Now what I'm going to do is join the 2 of these together here, and so it'll go up all the way around. Then what I'll do is clip those curves, especially around. I'll press those to the side and then sew it all together, and then I will have my liner or half the hat made. Then I just have to do it with the other side. And
okay,
we'll see
so
how
yes, I do know this looks weird. This is just one side, and I'm just checking it for fit. And also because I don't have a tailor's, well, I call it a ham, but I'm going to make one. So you just have I need a round, soft ball, and that's my head. My head is a round, soft ball to put this on, because it, because I don't have anything round, to stick it on. It looks a little weird. Get that out there. So, and I'm trying to film this horizontal today, for those of you who don't like the vertical. Look, see? It looks a little weird. I don't look as good as the one that's in the video, but I'm happy with it. So now I need to do the other side, the green one, stitch them together. Then I'm going to try to do a makeshift tailor's ham so I can press it the right way. But I'm pretty pleased with the prototype, and it didn't really take me all that long. So we'll see how long the other side and sewing it together takes. Definitely for a scrappy hat, for using scraps, this is, I think, going to be a good one. I don't know in the end how much easier it is just doing all the pieces, because my other way, even though it has more pieces to sew together, they're a little easier to sew the brim, the round top, and then the brim of it. So we'll see. So okay, alrighty then. Well, I do like this. I like the colors. I like the hat because of the way it's made, and it's not having that well-defined brim. I'm going to think about maybe stitching around the brim here, or the rim, yeah, not the rim, but the brim, and to see if that makes it a little more well-defined. It is a relatively loose hat, so that's okay for a sun hat. It has enough shade. I do like the colors of it. Let me show you what this looks like. I need to get my mannequin head out and put it on that. You can see what it looks like. There's the other side. I like it, but I'm not sure if it was worth it to do this smaller hat I think I might like the other one, the more well-defined one, better. I'm going to make a little makeshift tailor's hem out of a towel and try pressing a little more. And then if I do decide to stitch around this to make it a more well-defined brim, that I'll see if that causes it to be a little more defined. Maybe I just need a smaller size or maybe a bigger head. Anyway, I like it. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this fabric that I had chosen out of this new one or my older one, because I really like this fabric and I want to wear it. And if I don't think that I love it, then I wouldn't wear it. So anyway, I've got enough of the green sheet to put it on the inside of this and use this for the outside. So I might go back to my tried and true pattern and do this and see, now that I've had a couple of goes with that other pattern, if I can be more productive making this, because really in the end, even though it's one pattern piece, it's still 6 for the lining and 6 for the other, so it's still 12 pieces total together. So I don't know that this was really that much easier, and I could make the other one out of scrap material too, because I could make the circle out of one thing, and then each one of the sides I could make it out of something else. But I think I'll make another one of them before I make my decision on whether this is going to be my go-to hat pattern or the other one is. So thanks for watching. What I did was I did a little more stitching around the brim here, or the of this, and I like it better. It still is a little big for me, so I think that this size hat, it's just that the hat is big. So I have a friend who wants another hat. In fact, I made her one of the other style, and she likes it so much she wears it all the time, especially to walk her dog, because she has some dermatology frights that she's had, and she likes to wear a hat all the time now. And she told me that the other day she was wearing her hat and taking her dog for a walk in the morning, and she said some gentleman in a big commercial truck stopped and rolled down the window, and he said, "Oh, I love your hat. Where'd you get it?" And she said, "Oh, a friend made it for me." He said, "I just love it." And she said she's not had any women commented on it, but that's the third man that has told her that they loved her hat. So I don't know if she's just got these men flirting with her, or if it really is such a winner with the guys for a hat. So I think this one is going to become hers. And maybe this is the hat that I'll start making in the larger size, because she has a little wider circumference of head, and she has more hair than I do. So I do like this. I like it with the brim stitched a little more. And I don't think I showed you the other side. And this was a good use for the sheet, because the sheet is not 100% cotton. I don't know why I bought the sheet. It must have been 50 cents or something, and I'm a sucker for anything that's 50 cents. So I usually do prototypes and stuff out of that sheet. I do like it, but I don't like the fabric. I like the colors and not the fabric. So anyway, this is the other side. I kind of like this side too. You know, it's darker on the underside, but still, it is a little larger hat. I might wear it, you know, if I were out gardening or something, just to pop on my head, but it'll probably fly off because it is a bit large. But it's cute. I'm glad I made it, the trial pattern. I think I'll go back to my other pattern unless somebody requests a larger than normal hat, and then I'll use this for that pattern because it's automatically bigger. So anyway, that's it for the hat make for this week. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this hat, if you think the brim is wide enough, if you like the size, the style, just let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Bye.